Hello students, today we will discuss a new topic which is mechanism of hormone action. So it is a very important topic if you are concerned with class 11th in any board, SSC, CBSC or ICC. It is a very important topic. 3-marker question is always framed in the board exam of this topic. So this is the topic of prime importance which we are dealing today. So mechanism of hormone action, we will start by just classifying the hormones into two categories. What are those categories we will discuss? Lipid soluble and lipid insoluble Lipid soluble means which can freely pass through the plasma membrane, that is the phospholipid bilayer, and lipid insoluble which cannot penetrate through the plasma membrane. So let's write the hormones present in them. Lipid insoluble. First we have iodothyronins. Which include T3 and T4. T3 is triiodothyronin, T4 is thyroxine or tetraiodothyronin. Simple it is. Second is steroidal hormones. Steroidal hormones means which are steroid derivatives. First we have all sex hormones, which is testosterone, estrogen and progesterone, and all corticoids. Corticoids includes mineralocorticoid, glucocorticoid and sex corticoids. So this comes under lipid soluble. Let's move to lipid insoluble. First we have catecholamines, which include adrenaline and noradrenaline, which are secreted by the adrenal medulla. Now in second, other hormones which are peptide or proteinaceous hormones are included. Majority of pituitary hormones are peptide and proteinaceous, like the example of FSH, which is in this category. So majority we can say are lipid insoluble. So now we will discuss separately the mechanism of hormone action for lipid soluble and for lipid insoluble. Okay, so note down this is very, very important classification which is discussed. Now I'm rubbing it. First, our concern is about lipid soluble. First I am writing lipid soluble. So this is the plasma membrane which I am making. Phospholipid bilayer. As in the cell chapter we have studied that it is a bilayer. Completing the layer. So here is the hormone. You can consider any lipid soluble hormone, that is sex organs, or any other hormones you can consider which are lipid soluble. So here there is a receptor. Here there is a receptor. Wait, let me draw it neatly. Receptor present in the cytoplasm. So it is called the cytosolic receptor. Cytosolic receptor present in the cytoplasm. So this is the phospholipid bilayer. Lipid soluble penetrates through the phospholipid bilayer and gets attached to this, forming a complex that is hormone receptor complex. Hormone receptor complex. Simple it is. Now this is the brain of the cell, which is called the nucleus. Nucleus, which has genetic material or DNA, I will tell. So this enters, this hormone receptor complex enters the nucleus, and it makes changes in the genetic material. Thereby it changes the DNA. DNA change causes the change in RNA. RNA change causes the change in the protein code. Causes the change in the protein code, and that way the mechanism is generated. Let us revise. Lipid soluble hormone अंदर जाएगा, यहाँ पे अंदर जाएगा और साइटोसोलिक रिसेप्टर से बाइंड हो जाएगा, फॉर्मिंग hormone receptor complex, which enters the brain of the cell, which is the nucleus. DNA में वो चेंज लाएगा, DNA के चेंज से RNA में चेंज आएगा, RNA के चेंज से प्रोटीन कोड में चेंज आने वाला है. This is simple. So very important. This is slow but long lasting. Means अपन वैसे कर सकते हैं, सोच सकते हैं कि all the estrogen and progesterone, they act only during the reproductively active age. Slowly they act, but their effect is long lasting. This is all about lipid soluble. Now our next concern is lipid insoluble. That is more difficult to understand than this. This was easy, but I will make it crystal clear to everyone. Lipid insoluble. I'm drawing the phospholipid bilayer. Can represent in the examination like this. So here there is the hormone. Here there is a hormone which is lipid insoluble. So the phospholipid will not allow this hormone to penetrate directly. Thereby, here there is a membrane bound receptor is present. This is called membrane bound receptor. Membrane bound receptors. So this hormone will act here and formed again. The complex hormone receptor complex is formed again, and here there is a protein connected here, which is called the G protein, which secretes adenyl adenyl cyclase, which secretes adenyl cyclase, and this adenyl cyclase acts on the ATP and forms cyclic AMP plus 2IP, which is inorganic phosphate. कैसे हुआ ये? As you know that ATP is broken down to ADP, so one inorganic phosphate. ADP को अगर और break down किया तो AMP बनेगा, that is adenine monophosphate, adenosine monophosphate. From adenosine triphosphate we are getting adenosine monophosphate, but this is cyclic, thereby two inorganic phosphates are removed. So this cyclic AMP acts as a secondary messenger. This is very important. Secondary messenger. That this secondary messenger converts protein kinase, which was inactive to its active form. Protein kinase now, with influence of cyclic AMP, converts to protein kinase active, and from this they carry out their biological processes. Biochemical processes are carried out. I've written here in short. If it is not visible, what you can hear and write that here it is. Biochemical processes are carried out after protein kinases is active. So there is a need for secondary messengers, as the lipid insoluble hormone cannot directly enter the lipid bilayer or the cell. It cannot directly enter, thereby it follows certain steps. So you can see that these steps are in series: adenyl cyclase, then cyclic AMP to that protein kinase. So we can call it as cascade reaction. Cascade reaction means, as in waterfall, there are levels. That way the reaction is carried out in levels. It is also characterized by amplification. Means if there is 100 adenyl cyclase, then 10,000 cyclic AMP will be formed. Means there is a amplification of products each time. Thereby this reaction is termed as fast process but short lasting. We can make an analysis by taking catecholamines, that when we are in stress condition or we are in race competition, we are running, we have to sprint very fast, so that time adrenaline is released, so that is a fast process. And after that we do not feel any kind of rush in our body, because that is short lasting. So this was all about lipid insoluble. In this video we covered mechanism of hormone action, which comes for 3 to 4 marks in CBSE, SSC or ICC examination, and it's very important topic to understand for NEET as well as for MHCET also. So thank you for watching.